First up, we know the Saints' electric running backs, and the Rams emerged last week with a couple 100-yard rushers of their own. So which running back duo do you think will be more dominant on Sunday? Round one, fight.
To me, this is not even close. I think it's the Rams and a hashtag runaway, if you will. C.J. Anderson's the hottest player in the sport right now. And as much as I love Alvin Kamara, I really do, I had to quadruple check this. Do you know this season how many runs he has of over 20 yards? One run,
really?
And it was in week 4, which means that Alvin Kamara, this incredibly explosive player, has gone 4 months without a big-time run. And I love him. Maybe we'll get it this weekend, but right now it is the Rams, and it might not even be Gurley.
I mean, they're going against the second-best ranked run defense. But with that being said, I have to agree with you. I love what C.J. Anderson is doing. You know, they're really a power running team disguised as a finesse. They got the jet sweeps and all that stuff going on to grab your attention. But they're running downhill. And I really like C.J. Anderson better than Ty Gurley. He's running. He has a feel for getting – it's funny because he's a big man. And he's getting skinny to get through the hole, which is an oxymoron. But, you know, you see the big fella getting skinny, and I think he's finishing runs, and I think he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. You hear Tom Brady talking about being an underdog. Well, who's been a bigger underdog than C.J. Anderson? Been on his 3rd team, and I think he's trying to prove himself right. You know, the other teams that let him go wrong.
You know, 35 is such an interesting number for running back. I look at it, and you could think Christian Okoye, this big running back. I see Mike Tolbert, the old Charger and Panther, just kind of, and that's how C.J. runs. I'm going to take the Saints, though, on this one, because as interesting as 35 is as a running back number, 41 is so unique.
Unheard of.
And 41 is Alvin Kamara. And as much as he's been stifled in the run game, he's so dangerous in the passing game. And I feel like the Rams' weakness is that linebacker position. And if you can get to that next level and pick them apart with Kamara out of the screen game, it could be a long day for Wade Phillips in that Rams defense. Everyone's focused on Michael Thomas. Alvin Kamara might be the most dynamic player in the sport when in open space.
Woo, 2 of the 4 quarterbacks playing on Sunday, Brady and Breeze, have pretty extensive, legit resumes. The other 2 don't have a ton of experience in the playoffs at all. So which young quarterback stock would rise more with a trip to the Super Bowl? Just the way that we perceive these guys. Is it Goff or is it Mahomes in round 2 fight?
Bart likes the gong. No, I can tell you like
I just want to say, get over here.
Do it. We all do. Go ahead.
Who are you picking then? Who's getting over there? Who you got?
Well, for me, I think I have to go with Patrick Mahomes because he's going to beat the GOAT. Now, I think we all get a respect and we're getting greater appreciation for some of the milestones that Drew Brees are passing this year. But it has to be the GOAT. And the fact that, you know, I think that Patrick Mahomes, especially if he's able to pull this off, will kind of be considered like the Steph Curry of football because we see him doing things, throwing the no-look passes, throwing left-handed, you know, throwing across his body, all the things that you're not supposed to do. He does it in a more flair. You know, he has more flair. He has more character with it. So I think his stock potentially can rise. I don't even know if the Rams go, if next year they sell out season tickets.
Wow. Yeah. You know, I'm going to say Mahomes, but it's like the big games that Mahomes won were awesome, but he also lost to Russell Wilson in a big game. He went up and he lost to Tom Brady in a big game. You seize that torch from Brady, you're the guy. You're the guy in the league. You're the face of Madden. You're the guy who's going to be everywhere next year. The MVP is awesome. Matt Ryan won an MVP. It's a regular season award. Super Bowl MVP. That's what you want. And for me, if Mahomes is really going to be that next generation guy, the guy that's going to carry the torch into the next decade, go win a Super Bowl in your second year and beat Tom Brady and a Drew Brees or Jared Goff, you did it. I'm saying Mahomes.
Okay. The logic says Goff because right now his profile is so much lower than Mahomes. And if he gets to the Super Bowl, he'll be forced to be talked about nationally. However, I'm also going to go Mahomes because he'll go from star to stratosphere. Like he's on Johnny Carson's couch if he does. People who know nothing about football, family members. My Aunt Susan will know Patrick Mahomes. He's going to go from like a 10 or from like an 8 to a 12, whereas Goff would go from a 3 to a 6.
3 to a 6. Goff, nobody knows what to make of Jared Goff. Find me the people who doubt what Patrick Mahomes is doing. Like you said, he gets the MVP. People know who he is. We had the Play 60 kid come in here. All he would talk about was Mahomes, and he's like in 3rd grade. So to me, it's because of your reasoning, the logical side that you didn't go with. It's that. It's the fact that we don't know what to make of him yet. And if he gets a win in the Superdome where magical Nick Foles, who we're building shrines to, loses and looks awful for 3 out of 4 quarters, that means something because now he's on the map and it's like, oh, snap, we were wrong about him. We were right about him. Either way, we don't know enough about what Goff is yet.
Shout out Aunt Susan, too, by the way.
Yeah, Aunt Susan's a wonderful woman. Yes, sure. Go Susan.
Next up, the Saints and the Chiefs both have some unique offensive weapons. Which hill has a bigger impact on Sunday? This is a good one. Is it Tyreek or is it Taysom?
I'll go first. I love Taysom Hill. This guy is built like a linebacker. He's like 6'3", has the body. And he also runs like a wide receiver. He runs a 4.40, and then he also throws, like I said earlier this week, like Steve Young. This guy is the total package. And whereas Tyreek Hill is maybe the more dynamic weapon overall, Taysom Hill will make the bigger impact on Sunday's game. I feel like Taysom Hill is going to do something that is going to break the back of the Rams at some point, or he'll come up short. But I know Sean Payton's going to go to him. I love the Taysom Hill experience. I think we're saving the best for last this weekend.
Taysom Hill, Tyreek Hill. I wonder a commercial we might see a lot of Henry Hill, right? Reduce my urge to smoke, Karen. It worked. It worked. I think the answer is Tyreek, because you can come up with a million different trick plays for Taysom. You don't know what's coming. Even though you do know Tyreek is going to happen, you still can't stop it. I'm going to go Tyreek, but I like Henry too.
No doubt. Taysom Hill is what we thought Tebow could have been, right? So he's what we wanted him to be.
That's a great call.
He just couldn't throw the ball and have the accuracy. So I think this kid, is going to be the future quarterback for them, not Teddy Bridgewater. But I have to go biggest impact. I got to go Tyreek Hill, because he can affect the game in so many different ways. He can affect you in kickoff, punt return, rushing the ball, and also receiving the ball. So, you can get the ball in his hands, and, he can erase angles. You see guys look like they're running in slow motion. You saw that reverse. Nobody even got a hand on him. He's a guy that I think can have the biggest impact, because that we've seen him have explosive plays. I think he, 8 career touchdowns over 75 yards.
75? It's crazy.
75.
Finally, a battle of the Seans, gentlemen. We know that's the two coaches squaring off in the Superdome, but I'm not going to make this about them. I'm going to make this about them being unavailable. If Sean McVay and Sean Payton were both not around this weekend, and instead Sean Astin, that Sean Astin, had to coach the Rams, and Sean Connery had to coach the Saints.
Amazing graphic.
Which battle, which Sean wins it?
Well, listen, if it was Darrell Hammond as Sean Connery, then I game plan for your mother last night. However, Sean Astin, based on the strength of the pregame speech, he would look at him and say, I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. And then they win by 100 points. Mr. Frodo, FTW.
5 foot nothing. 100 and nothing.
Ooh. Yeah. Charles S. Dutton, baby.
You hung with the greatest athletes in the world. You're going to get I listen to it every morning. My rise motivation.
Every morning
I can quote that whole thing.
You can count the whole...
It's the rise motivation, and it has that in it. You're 5 foot nothing, 100 nothing. You hung with the greatest athletes in the world. You're going to get a degree from the University of Notre Dame. You don't owe nothing to nobody.
Yeah! And then he goes out, and Dutton goes like this.
Is this an Astin sweep?
Astin.
No, I'm taking Sean Connery, by the way.
You had your James Bond.
I can't go after Bond.
And his dad, Ned Beatty, makes me cry every time. I love Beatty.
The Rock is the greatest Sean Connery movie.
Welcome to The Rock.
Sean Connery coaching the Saints. That'd be pretty crazy.